Welcome to Mechano N5. If you are new here, I will ask you to subscribe to this YouTube channel because I usually post useful content for you. And so make sure that you stick around, make sure that you subscribe so that you remain posted with everything that we have for you. So today's module is on reduction gearboxes. It is not a difficult module, so if you pay attention to me, by the time I am done with my presentation, you should be able to tackle any question on this module, okay? Let's begin. So first, let us look at the functions of a gearbox. Of course, there are many functions of a gearbox, but I've selected a few that I think are important for you to understand as you get introduced to reduction gearboxes. So the first function of a gearbox is that it makes it possible to increase the torque while reducing the speed, okay? For the same amount of power, you can play with torque and speed within the gearbox, okay? If you look at this equation for power, power is equal to torque multiplied by angular velocity. And you can see that if you keep your power constant, you can reduce the torque and then increase the speed, or you could reduce the speed and then increase the torque. It's like saying maybe 3 times 5 is equal to 15, okay? So you could change the 3 to 5 and then change the 5 to 3, you will still get 15, okay? So for the same amount of power, okay, we can play with the torque and we can play with the speed. So if we increase the torque, we need to reduce the speed in such a way that the product of the two will give you the same power. Or you could also reduce the torque and then increase the speed in such a way that the product of the two will still give you the same power. So for the same power that you have coming from the engine, you can reduce the speed and increase the torque, or reduce the torque and increase the speed, okay? And that is exactly what is happening when gears are being changed on a gearbox, okay? For instance, you've noticed when you are driving, for those of you that are driving, when you get to a hill, okay, and you have to go uphill, what you do is that you shift gears down, okay? You go back to first gear, for instance, because in first gear, the speed is low. But then, because the speed is low, for the same power, you can have greater torque. And it is torque that actually causes the wheels to move and that causes the vehicle to be dragged up the hill, okay? And so when you get to a place where you need to move the weight of the vehicle, you will need a lot of torque, okay? For instance, when you are going uphill, you need a lot of torque at that moment. So that is why you cannot really easily go uphill when you are using like maybe fourth gear, okay? You're gonna need to go to the lower gears because as you reduce the speed, it is then possible for you to increase the torque. You have more torque available to you, and that will make it possible then for the vehicle to go uphill, okay? I hope that is making sense. So that is one advantage of a gearbox, is that you can play with the torques and the speeds depending on the needs that you have, you know, as you are driving, okay, for example. And so another function of the gearbox is that, of course, you can increase the speed in stages, okay, depending on the torque requirements that you have. For those of you who drive, you know that you have many different speeds on your gear, okay? And you can go first, second, third, fourth, and fifth, and then you can even reverse, okay? But what is nice with having a gearbox is that it allows you to increase the speeds in steps, okay? So you do not just move from the lowest speed to the highest speed in one go. You can go in increments depending on the torque requirements that you have, okay? Another function of a gearbox is that it allows the vehicle to reverse, okay? You can imagine if we had the shaft from the engine directly connected to the wheels, okay? First of all, the wheels will move really fast, okay, if we didn't use a gearbox. But the other problem is that the wheels would only be able to rotate in the direction of the shaft. It wouldn't be able to get the wheels to rotate in the opposite direction. But now with a gearbox, it is possible to make sure that the input shaft is connected in such a way that you can actually reverse the direction of rotation of the output shaft. Okay, and so that is really key with having a gearbox. It's a really huge benefit of having a gearbox. Okay, and then another function of a gearbox that I can give you is that you can engage or disengage the engine. If the shaft from the engine was directly connected to the wheel, or the wheels, okay, then of course as soon as you turn on the engine, the wheels will begin to move, okay. And so for you to stop the wheels from moving, you will have to turn off the engine. But now with a gearbox, it is possible to disconnect, okay, to disengage the driving shaft in such a way that it does not affect the wheels. So the engine will still be running, but you can disengage the driving shaft in such a way that the wheels are not affected by the rotation of the engine anymore, okay? So I hope that is making sense. So these are just a few functions of a gearbox that I was able to compile for you, but you can do your research and find more about the use of gearboxes. And so here what we have is a gearbox, okay? Just one simple arrangement of a gearbox. And you can see the different gears that you have here. Of course, you have three speeds and then you have reverse, okay? And it's a very simple design of a gearbox, but it does well in explaining how the gearbox works, okay? First of all, you have the first gear, and you can see what we have in purple here are the gears, and these gears are connected to this shaft, and this shaft is what we will call the input shaft, and this is the shaft that is related to the engine, okay? And so we call it the input shaft. And then you have here in green the output shaft. So this is the output shaft, and the output shaft is connected to the wheels, okay? So as you can see, the input shaft from the engine is not directly connected to the output shaft that goes to the wheels, but rather you have a set of gears here on the input shaft that then interact with the gears that you have on this red shaft, and this red shaft is what we call the counter shaft, okay? And so what happens is that the input shaft has gears mounted on it, and these gears are rotating with the input shaft, and then they connect to gears on the counter shaft, and the counter shaft then later on connects here to the output shaft. And so you can see in first gear it is connected in a certain way, in second gear it is connected in a certain way, and also in third gear it is connected in a certain way, and finally in reverse it is also connected in a specific way. Okay, so we will look at each of the speeds separately and explain what is going on. So first I will give you this equation, okay? And this is the equation for the gear ratio. And this is an equation that relates the input speed of the gearbox, which is coming through the engine, to the output speed of the gearbox, okay, which goes to the wheels, okay? So basically, if you have this input shaft rotating at a certain speed and you divide that speed by the speed of the output shaft, what you get is what we refer to as the gear ratio. And it is also equal to the product of the number of teeth of driven gears to the product of the number of teeth of the driving gears in the gearbox, okay? So let me repeat what I just said. The gear ratio is the product of the input speed of the gearbox to the output speed of the gearbox. Now, this input speed of the gearbox, it's a frequency of rotation that is coming from the engine into the gearbox. The output speed here is the frequency of rotation of the output shaft that is going out of the gearbox to affect the wheels. And this ratio here is equal to the product of the number of teeth of driven gears to the product divided by the product of the number of teeth